Has anyone joined us for the past 2 talks that we've had this afternoon? Amazing, welcome back. And to everybody else, welcome for the first time. I think we've got a real treat for you coming up. Like, this is completely different from anything that we've done during the rest of the day. So you're here at the Great Exhibition Roads Festival's Trailblazers Talks. In this grand lecture weekend, we're celebrating ideas, technologies, and individuals that have contributed to our modern world and can influence its future. So the final session for today is a great example of exploring how creativity is not just entertainment, but can really enrich lives. Some of you may have come across the terms like the prison cycle to describe the number and the percentage of the prison population in the UK who are reoffenders. Now, I've previously served time. Our guests today are attempting to do something positive about this level of reoffending, and it's led to something amazing: the creation of InHouse Records, the UK's first record label to be launched in a prison. Before I introduce the speakers for today, I'd like to remind everyone that this is an interactive conversation. So while everything's going on, have a think and store your questions, because in the second half, you will have the chance to ask anything of our panel. And it's a really amazing panel coming up. If that's okay with everybody, then I'll introduce our speakers. So today we are joined by Carl and Sheena, who are both part of InHouse Records. They've been part of the group for a number of years, some as in terms of performing, some in terms of organising and working with the prisoners themselves. So yeah, I think I've done a very small part of the story, and you're about to hear a lot more. So please give it up for Carl and Sheena.
Hello guys.
Hello everyone.
So I'm Carl and this is Sheena. So we are InHouse Records. So I'm an artist manager and prison A&R, and Sheena is a producer and facilitator within the prisons. So Sheena works inside prisons and I work outside prisons. So InHouse Records is a record label for change, and we give people the opportunity to rehabilitate through music. So we literally, we teach production, we teach songwriting, we enhance performance, we do live shows, and we record. So I'm going to hand you over to Sheena, and she'll tell you a little bit about her journey with InHouse.
Thank you, Carl. So as Carl said, I'm Sheena. Nice to meet everyone. So yeah, I'm very much in the prisons. I'm deep in the trenches. I've been working with InHouse now for about, I was hired maybe September last year, so not quite a year, but more or less. What we really aim to do as a company is promote change through rehabilitation. When encountering some of our learners, a lot of them haven't seen positive reinforcement or sort of been encouraged or guided or disciplined in any sort of way in their lives. And the first thing that I sort of learned upon arrival is that there's so much more musical talent concentrated here than in any sort of group or social environment anywhere else in the world. And it sort of encourages the question as to why that is. And I think a lot of the questions surrounding prisoners is that, you know, you hear all these terms thrown around as like degenerates or criminals or things like that, but a lot of the time it is just that they've lacked that sort of stability and that encouragement to pursue their skills. So they've been sitting on this talent and had no sort of means of having it cultivated or stimulated or encouraged or been encouraged to grow in any way. So that's what we're really trying to do. I think personally the prison system as it stands doesn't really reward the sort of skills or the talent or anything that these guys are trying to do in their lives, and that's what we're trying to do. We speak to some of these guys, and you know, we have a whole varied bag of people. In the time that I've been there, I have taught people that want to be managers, managerial skills. I've taught music production and helped learners make beats. I've taught piano, drums, guitar. I've helped people with their songwriting and rap skills. So it really is a varied bag, but when you have all this skill but don't have the sort of the discipline behind you to do anything with it, you take that skill and you sort of put it in other places, right? Especially when you're coming from a more disadvantaged background, it's very difficult to sort of know how to make money and support yourself and build a stable future without turning to maybe harder means of making that money. But a lot of them, their whole lives have been made to feel like they don't have much to give to the world. Like when encountering some of these guys, they'll come down and they'll say, Sheena, like within prison, like the 2.5 hours that we're with you is the sole time in our week that we feel happy and we feel good about ourselves. So we take these people that have never felt good about themselves in their lives, and we actually give them something to work towards, and we give them these sort of transferable skills that they can take from within their time in the prison and apply to the outside world. And interestingly enough, learners that go through the course with us have a reoffense rate of less than 5%. So the work that we are doing is effective. It definitely has an impact, and it means that these people can take what they're doing and they can actually go forwards when they get out of prison and use the skills that they have but haven't known how to use and actually cultivate a substantial career that means they don't have to go back to a life of crime. When you're born in sort of a less privileged sort of environment, you don't really know what you can do with the skills that you have at your disposal because no one's here to teach them to you. So you turn to sort of more difficult means of making money. A lot of the guys that we work with, they've grown up in like a sort of gang culture, which I believe is quite a grooming environment. Like you're taken as a very young child and you're told, this is what you do, this is what you do. If you don't do this, you're in trouble. And that's a scary position to be in. A lot of the position that these guys have been with, you look at their sentences and it says things like murder, attempted murder, GBH with intent. And when you finally get to know these people and you speak to them, they tell you very much that it's a case of kill or be killed. And I question you as individuals to look within yourself and ask yourself, if you were put in a situation where someone had a gun to your head and said, do this or I'm going to kill you and I'm going to kill your family, how many of you people would do that? Because it's a dangerous position to be in, and especially when you're coming from that as a young person, it's scary, and you think that that's your only option because you haven't been taught how to cultivate your skills or how to pursue your passions. But that's what we're trying to do. So we take these people that have very much been forgotten by society, and we try and give them a second chance. And they very much come out of the program feeling like that is the case. So we take when a lot of guys come to us initially, they have very little confidence. I would say the majority of people come to us very uncertain of their ability or very doubting of the fact that they have a chance to pursue anything they're passionate about or anything that they love in life. Ultimately, I think it boils down to self-esteem. When you're groomed into that way of life, you really come to a point where you believe, I'm not good enough to pursue anything. All I can do is, pursue crime, sell drugs, kill, and that's a hard position to be in. But we're here to show people that the talents that they have, they aren't worthless, and they can do something with that, and those skills can be transferred to the outside world, and that they can use that, and they don't have to turn back to crime. And I like to think that we do a pretty good job.
Yes, we do.
So I'm going to pass you on to Carl, who's going to tell you a little bit about what we do when the guys get out of prison.
So, guys, before I get into what we do inside prisons, I'm going to let you into my journey with InHouse. So my journey with InHouse started as when I was finishing off a prison sentence. So I finished off a 16-year prison sentence. I was in an open prison, and then InHouse came with their program into the prison, and I joined their program. But I'm going to rewind a little bit before I get to that. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. So from like 12, my mum and dad divorced. Dad was ghost after the divorce. So I started acting out. It seemed like that was the only time I would actually see my dad is when I was in trouble. So that it started to become a little habit. Then after like a couple of years of acting out, I ended up hanging around with kids that are doing the same thing. So it became just a habit, like the normal behavior. So after years and years of acting out, being with people that do the same thing, I just ended up being one of those kids that was always in trouble. So from 14 to 17, mainly my mum, because my dad wouldn't always come, but I put my mum through hell, basically, coming up to police stations to visit me, bail me out and stuff. So 14 to 17, I was in and out of police stations. Still never went jail, but it's like I had like a close call, and I said to myself, this is not the life for me. So I started hanging around with some of my old school friends, and they were like, you have to come away from these guys. Like, at the end of the day, you're better than this, blah, blah, yeah. But I was still in the habit and that way of thinking. So I slowed down, got myself a painting and decorating job. But I was still because I used to take drugs, smoke weed, take cocaine. I was still doing that, but I wasn't actively going out and committing like a physical crime. So I thought I was all right. I thought that way of thinking was okay, but it clearly wasn't. So then a couple of years went by, I met my ex-fiancée. I then went on to have a kid with her, my beautiful daughter. But even then, I was still in and out of the party life, always going raving, again, taking drugs. But I would binge drink and binge take drugs. So I wouldn't do it like throughout the month. But if I go out at the end of the month, then I would just go ham. And I used to think that was all right. I was still around bad company, just in different ways. So then I ended up going out to a nightclub with my friends for my friend's birthday, and a fight broke out. And unfortunately, someone died within that fight. So then 4 of us got done for joint enterprise. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of joint enterprise. But so one of the guys that I was with went too far, killed someone. And when we was asked about it, because we lied, now we're implicated in what he's done. So I ended up getting 16 years, leaving a 3-year-old and my fiancée at the time, and going to prison. Like, and my life just literally crashed. So the first like 4 years was like depression, like revolt, where I was like, because I didn't actually lay a hand on the guy that died, I didn't believe I should have been there. Why? Like in my mind, I'm like, why am I here? So, but now, as years have gone past, and I've kind of educated myself and started thinking a little bit different, at the end of the day, I might not have laid a hand on that guy, but I made the choice to be with those people who I knew were still within some form of life that is clearly not right for society. So I had the choice to walk away. I had the choice to tell the police the truth. I had the choice to call an ambulance when I knew something happened, and I didn't do any of them. So that was the reason I was in jail. So I still done wrong because I made the wrong choices. So years went by. I'd done some courses. I've done quite a lot of courses actually. Educated myself. I became a peer mentor, mediator, and throughout my prison sentence, I remembered music, because when I was young, I used to do a little bit of music, but I just faded out because of my environment. So I started remembering music. Then, so each jail I went to, I was going to like little music classes here, there, and everywhere. Then InHouse Records came into the open prison, but they were different. It wasn't I'd go to a room, they play beats, or someone plays a guitar and you just do whatever. It was more structured, like they're actually teaching you the managerial side, the business side, production side, performance side, songwriting. It was so much more. And because I was in an open prison, after a year, because I'd done all the right things, I became able to go out for like a day. Say like there was some kind of event, I'd be able to go out for the day with a chaperone and come back, or go to my family's house for like 3 days. Like my family will come pick me up, go to my family's house, spend time with my family, and come back to prison. So it was all like a trust thing, building up trust. And so once I got security cleared, InHouse took me to the other Palace Theatre, me and some other guys, and we done like about 5 theatre shows. My family got to see me doing like something positive. It was a beautiful experience. And then, so because to get out of prison just for the day, you have to do so much paperwork. Individually, everyone has to do so much paperwork. And if one thing is wrong, the paperwork will come back. Even if they know the information that's supposed to be there, the paperwork will come back, and then you might miss the marker and not get out. So I started realizing this, and then started just checking everyone's paperwork to make sure, because we was going out as a band, so we are a team. So in order to get the show done, we need everyone there. So I'd check everyone's paperwork, and I was just putting it in. And like part of it was because I want to get out and see my family. I want my family to see me on the stage doing something positive. Like, who wouldn't when you've been seen in a negative light for so many years, and now they get to see me doing something good and positive. So then on the last theatre show, Jude, Grace, and another staff member, Charlotte, who doesn't work for InHouse anymore, but they approached me and said to me, like, can we talk to you? And I was thinking, what have I done wrong? I've not done nothing wrong. It seemed a bit shady, you know, like the way they were moving. So I've gone aside with them, and they said, look, like, we've been watching you. We like your organisation skills. You know, like, you're a positive influence on the group and stuff. Do you want a job when you get out? And I was like, doing what? And they goes, well, doing what you're doing, music, management. I said, get a job doing music? Of course, definitely. So I started going out doing voluntary work in my last year. So I'd meet up with Jude, our founder, who, sorry, forgot to say, unfortunately couldn't make it today because his flight's been cancelled. So
Stepping in.
Yeah, Sheena stepped in. So I started going down to Brighton to the main office, and he was, you know, like, kind of giving me little tasks, speaking to the grads. So our grads are guys that have graduated from prison to outside and want to continue their journey with InHouse. And he was like, he said to me, can I speak to like 5 grads say? And like, I had like a 5-minute conversation with them all, and he said to me, like, I got more out of them in that 5 minutes than he's had out of them in like 5 months. So I think it's because I've been on the same journey. So a lot of the time, some of the guys might say to some of the staff, oh, you don't understand, you've not been in prison. Well, I do understand. You can definitely change. I've been to prison for probably longer than you. You can definitely change. All you need to do is want to change. So, cut a long story short, the day I got out, I got a job with InHouse. He kept true to his word, gave me a job, and I've been out a year and 8 months now, and I'm literally loving it, loving life. I've got a granddaughter now. I came out to an adult daughter. Thank you. So my job role now is I'm prison A&R. So Sheena and all of our staff they have to write reports on all of the learners. And you know, any learners that are standing out as not doing so well or standing out as doing well, it's my job to look through the reports and, you know, just see any spikes up or down and dive deeper into that. So if they're not doing so well, why aren't they doing so well? What have you done to try and get them over this brick wall? So, you know, because I've been in that situation, it's easier for me to place myself in their mind, kind of, and work with them together. We'll just work ways to try and get around the obstacles.
You gain a certain level of respect from our more difficult learners, I would say, for the fact that you can relate to what they've been through in a way that we can't. Yeah. So you definitely have that rapport, I would say, that we can't give them.
Also, they've stopped now, but I actually went into Leeds prison, and we recorded some of the guys and had a few little one-to-one chats, telling them the options that they have when they leave prison. It's not all, as soon as you come out, you can't get a job. Because I came out as a qualified barber, and I've been offered barbering jobs, but I prefer to do the job I'm in now. It creates change. I'm a musician myself, so I like to create. I like creators. I love just being around creators, so it's good, and we are creating change. So this is what we do. This is what part of my job role. So part of my job role is to act as a peer mentor, I manage artists. I do the prison A&R, like what I was just saying. We also do live events, so I organise live events, and the guys that are recording with us, guys that have come out of prison, that have recorded in prison, if they want to come to a show and perform at a live show, like we just done Brighton Festival, that was amazing. We've got Latitude Festival coming up, that will be amazing, I'm looking forward to that. But have I missed anything out from outside? Oh, and studio, so we offer them studio work, and I'll just help them manage it, because sometimes people will waste a bit of time in their studio, so they don't have to pay for anything. But it's like me, I like to outline, look, because some guys waste their opportunity with what we're giving them. But if they were to go to a studio where they're paying, you're going to be wasting money. All of these little things that we do cost money, so take the advantage, use it. So, and also, because I can write to anything, any songwriting
He really
problems,
can, by the way. He can literally write to anything. It's unreal.
I push them through any songwriting barriers and stuff as well. So that's us really,
Yeah.
in a nutshell.
I think so.
In-house
I just want to
record.
say, finally, like, Carl is an absolutely pivotal example of what things at InHouse can do. Like, I don't know if you'd agree, but when you got to prison, you were quite disheartened, you'd lost a lot of hope, and you've now, like, turned that around to a point where you're actually doing a job. Like, how many people can say that they actually do a job that they care about, right? Yeah. And you've done, 16 years behind the door, you've come out and you've got a job on arrival. Yeah. Because of how much promise and how much potential you've shown. And I really think InHouse does a lot to sort of nurture those skills and that talent and take you to, like, a whole new level. Like, I personally, without InHouse, don't know how I would have gotten into music. It gives so many, I haven't been to prison, but I think whether you have or not, like, InHouse, it's really like a family environment, isn't
definitely.
it? Like, it really fosters
community.
that sort of communal environment, and it takes people and it brings them together where they might not have met in other walks of life, and it really brings people closer together, and it allows, as cheesy as it sounds, it really does help you sort of achieve your dreams. Yeah. Like, it really helps people get jobs and seek and pursue opportunities that they might not have had without the company. So yeah, really, really back what they do. And you're a great example of that.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, so we thought we'd do some songs for you. So we're gonna do like 3-4 songs, and then after that, if you like, you can ask us questions, and we'll try and answer you as best as possible. Yeah? Is that all right? Coolio.
I'm going to clear the stage for you while you do your two, so it's all yours, and I'll jump back up.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Check, check, check. So, this song that I'm going to sing, so before I start, so as I said, I can write to anything, but I'm normally predominantly rap or reggae, but I'm trying to push myself out of the box. So normally, because if I write a singing song, I might just give it to someone to sing, but yeah, this song I wrote as a dedication to, like all my friends and family that helped me through those hard times and stayed supporting me through those hard times, and to my new friends that are supporting me now. So this is called I'll Drop You a Line. When you're ready, mate. Hello? I'm sure it's I'm okay, everything is fine. Don't worry about me, I'll drop you a line. When all this is over, we will meet again. Until then, remember your faithful friend said I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Yeah, I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Has time been kind? I can't say it has. I've lost some loved ones this beaten track. A heart once broken, bleeding tears of pain. Cries are silent now, I feel myself again. Said I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Yeah, I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Out of darkness, sun rays warm my skin. I'm putting the past behind. It's time for life to begin. Knowledge is power, so I'm omnipotent. I will reach my goals. It's never too late to win. Said I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Yeah, I'm doing okay. And I'm doing just fine. Yeah, gonna sign out now. Gotta bring it to a close. This letter that I've written, gotta get it in the post. Hope it reaches you with lots of love, dreams and hopes. All the best, sign C, triple X, postscript. I appreciate the depth of your love, plus the time it took to trek to the deepest of darkest of dungeons where I slept. You played a big part of this soul that I kept. You why I'm doing okay. You're why I'm doing just fine. You're why I'm doing okay. You're why I'm doing just fine. You're why I'm doing okay. You're why I'm doing just fine. You're why I'm doing okay. You're why I'm doing just fine. Love you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, definitely nerves. So, the next song I'm gonna do, this was actually my first proper music video. So through someone that I met in prison, they had a friend that sang and basically said, you used to remind me of each other, like your characters. I think you'll make good music together. So I was a bit like nervous about actually messaging her. I thought, you only live once, she's only gonna say no, innit? So I messaged her on Insta, and she said, yeah, she's definitely up for a collaboration. So she was doing, her name's Baby J, by the way. She was doing 1950s covers in Las Vegas, but she wanted to stop that and do her own music. So I sent her something that I wrote, and then she sent me this amazing voice note back. I was like, yes. So we ended up doing this song together. So she co-wrote it. So I wrote my verses, the chorus, and then she wrote her 8-bar wave that she sings in on top of that. But it's called Frequency. You can see it on YouTube. Music by Roots is my page. If you're on Insta, CDOT Roots, and then my link tree is in my bio. But, so this is called Frequency. I'm afraid she couldn't be here, but she's with us in spirit. So this is Frequency.
No matter what they do to us, we're coming through.
Yeah.
Frequency so high,
See
we're going
Roots.
through the
Baby
roof.
J.
They can't hold us down, we're making moves.
Frequency.
We're gonna get this paper, gonna get that loot.
Look, thought I was gone forever, nah. Figures thought I'd be weathered, nah. Peter Pan forever. Frequency so high you can't measure. Yeah, I'll do this at my leisure. P's and Q's, you're welcome, my pleasure. Take a walk in my shoes, never, never. Land is what we measure. Before the foundation set, get the picture. Stack what every day I endeavor. Till I take my last breath, which is never. Like I said, I am forever. Love to my lost boys in the slammer. Firebun, Trenton, Bobby Lee swagger. Yeah, I love the glitz and the glamour. The universe, the limit, baby J, tell her mama.
No matter what they do to us, we're coming through. Frequency so high, we're blowing through.
Through the roof.
They can't hold us down, we are making moves.
Making money moves.
Get this paper, gonna get that loot.
Jake, they say we shine too much. Figure see us doing good and wealthy pipe up. But my life's too much. They can't dance me out, so I don't care much. I step up on the stage and I do my stuff. Gal them more pre-me, gal them more touch. Figures won't be me, but try act up. What I know about archer with platinum cuffs. I've been in them trenches, living life rough. Now I'm living my best life, this life I love. If the light's too bright, put your shades on. Cause the light's never dying, only ever getting strong. Climb to the top, beat my chest like King Kong. See roots, disappeared but never gone. See roots, eat the beat, it's nothing long. Always on the winning team, making them songs. So we said,
no matter what they do to us, we're coming through.
Coming through.
Frequency so high, we're blowing through.
We're blowing through the roof.
They can't hold us down.
InHouse Records.
We gonna get this paper, gonna get that.
Listen to her verse, sick.
If you know me, then you know what to do. Just come bring that good energy with
Tell her
you.
mama.
No matter what they do to us, we're coming through.
We're coming through.
Frequency so high, we're blowing through.
We're blowing through the roof.
They can't hold us down, we're making moves.
We're making money moves.
Get this paper, gonna get that.
Get this paper.
No matter what they do to us, we're
InHouse
coming
Records.
through.
Check us up on
Frequency so high,
Instagram. Check our website. Please support us. We need as much support as possible, please. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys. You know, I was telling you that I've got a granddaughter. I know I don't look old enough, but hey, I have. And she's beautiful. So she is 7.5 months old now. So the day after she was born, I wrote this song. It's called Isla. Her name is Isla. So bear with me because I haven't sung it much. I sung it to my daughter, and that's it. But I'm gonna try and do it for you. Let's get it. Yeah. It's a new day, a new dawn, a princess is born. Isla, your throne awaits. When I look into your eyes, I feel your heart inside of mine. You are my child of child, designed for me to love. You're a magical, divine being, a beacon of new light, taking the world with your new eyes. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. Rewind it, please. Guys, I'm gonna have to read it. I'm sorry. I thought I had this, but I'm gonna read it. Damn. Sorry, guys. Let's get it, baby. Yeah. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. Isla, your throne awaits. When I look into your eyes, I feel your heart inside of mine. You are my child, designed for me to love. You're a magical, divine being, a beacon of new light, taking the world with your new eyes. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. Innocence is your gift. I want to shelter you from this life and all its cold and darker sides. You are my line. Sticks and stones won't break your bones. I'll take on that pain for my own. You are your castle, I'm your moat. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. When I look into your eyes, I feel your heart inside of mine. You are my child, designed for me to love. Innocence is your gift. I want to shelter you from this life and all its cold and darker side. You are my line. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. Your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. Your guide. I'll be your guide. I'll be your guide. Your guide. Your guide. That was peak. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wow. These close ones are nerve-wracking. So can I introduce Sheena, or Shenza is her music name. Come on.
Thanks for having me back. So, as I told you earlier, I only found out I was doing this morning. So what I'm about to perform to you now is called I Wanna Know. It's going to be my debut single, but I've never performed it before, so be gentle with me. Loose cannon, what happened? Thought you could have been a one, imagine. Happy pattern with no passion. So you showed me that I never mattered. I'm moving on to bigger, better. Kind of shit that could last forever. Cause you don't know me like you thought you did. Tell me, baby, you've been losing sleep. Or is it foolish of me to still be waiting for it? Never pull up, but I'm in too deep. When you've been sleeping on me, don't know why I still want it lately. I've been drowning, and you're nowhere to be found. Yeah, lately I've been drowning, and you're nowhere to be found. Yeah, I wanna know, laying soul to soul. Was it nothing when you told me that you're not gonna leave? I wanna know, is it worth it? Was the purpose to keep me hurting? I wanna know. 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 Lost my mind trying to get you to stay. Doing up wifey every day. He knows I'm not his average lady. But still he call me crazy. Talking about how you ain't coming regular. He's up begging her. Are you mad? I ain't easily played. It's too little too late. No, I've been drowning. And you know you're nowhere to be found, yeah. Lately I've been drowning, and you're nowhere to be found, yeah. I wanna know, laying soul to soul, was it nothing when you told me that you're not gonna leave? I wanna know, is it worth it? Was the purpose to see me hurting? I wanna know. 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 Thank you.
All right. Let's have one more round of applause for Carl Chandler. I mean, this weekend's been really amazing just because you get to hear about what people are doing. And it takes one kind of, courage to talk about your work. It takes a completely different type of courage to talk about your life. So, Carl, thank you so much for sharing your story. And you know what? If you are going to talk about your work, then my gosh, your work does work. So thank you for that as well. So we actually have a bit of time now for questions. I'm sure there must be a lot bubbling up and around. We've got somebody here with a mic to take your questions. So does anyone have anything? Here we go. And do you guys want to join me on stage as well? You can get comfy. I'll stand.
Hi guys, thank you so much for such an inspiring talk. It's really incredible hearing about all of the work you've done so far. So I have a couple of questions. One of them is, I was wondering, how is InHouse funded? Are you a charity or what's that structure? Then my next question is, do you kind of have, are there people banging down the door in the prison to get involved in this, or do you generally have to recruit people to get involved, or how kind of popular is it within the prison? Thanks.
Okay, I'll take the first question. So we are a charity. However, Jude, our founder, deals with that part, but we are definitely a charity, and he will go to all sorts of conferences and whatnot to try and gain some money, because we are definitely not rich. But we make it happen for the little that we do have, and we're grateful for the people that do donate to us and help us out,
And if someone did want to donate, how would they do that? They've not asked us to ask it. I want to
Hit
know.
us up after the session, to be honest.
I would say contact our founder on our website,
Great.
and then he would go through that. Because I wouldn't want to point you in the wrong direction, but he's definitely the direction. Judah Armani, his name is.
Amazing.
And in terms of the second question, we are wildly oversubscribed. Within all the prisons we work at, we are known as the one place that everyone wants to be. The classes in comparison are things like, and not to sort of put a down on these things, are like maths and English, which not everyone is inclined towards, but is considered an like a compulsory sort of subject in the UK. So when you get to prison, if you haven't completed your maths or English or like functional skills or things like that, you are obliged to, of course, complete that first. But not every learner is keen on that fact. So for myself personally, when I lead sessions, we have, so all the learners come up for general educational purposes and they're allocated to wherever they're supposed to be, but they will all pile into our room until officers come and take them elsewhere. They don't want to be anywhere but here. And we get I would say if we have a session of 10 people at the beginning of the session, I'll have 40 learners in there all trying to join. And that is it's because of what I said when earlier, which is that there's so much concentrated music talent within that one specific area. So there is a sort of a rule within prisons that it's supposed to be one tutor per 10-ish learners. But there's just such a higher capacity than that, and we're spread quite thin in that regard. But yeah, extremely popular. There is a waiting list, and they are to apply through that. But yeah, the cases for a lot of them is they are expected to complete their functional skills and their maths and English first. So that sort of allows us to sieve a few people out. So we're not getting quite literally every learner come in, because whether you partake in music or not, everyone listens to music in some capacity in their life. I think it's quite harsh that music isn't considered more pivotal, because you'll find people in life that hate the sciences, hate English, hate maths, but everyone in this life consumes music in one way or another, whether it's in the elevator that you're going up and down in work, or on the radio in the car in the morning, to watching a scary film and the music in the film telling you when you're supposed to be scared. We all consume music, and it impacts all of our lives in so many ways. But when you're in prison, you don't necessarily have the access to that. So whether you're a musician or not, being in the session means that you actually have access to music, and because of that, we are insanely popular.
Can I just go off the back of what Sheena was saying? So while I was in prison and while I've been working for InHouse, I've come across like so many learners that don't like English and maths. And while I was in prison and while I'm out, I will always encourage them to, because just as a lyricist, yeah, words are our ammunition. So if you're not good at English, how are you going to write songs? How? Like, you might, unless you're like sick at freestyling off the top of your head, but you can't, if you're trying to make a career out of music, you're not going to constantly be creating structured stuff off the top of your head. You're going to have to write, you're going to have to think, punctuate properly and whatnot, use similes, all these stuff that maybe we take for granted because we've just learned it.
And we definitely try to transfer those skills and encourage them to take their English and their maths first and foremost, because music at its base level is mathematical. Like, it's how many beats are there in a bar. Like, keeping to rhythm is a very mathematical skill. And with most of these guys, I will be honest, the large majority of them are rappers. And how are you going to rap with a very limited vocabulary without an understanding of metaphor, of wordplay, of similes? All of that comes into it. So we try and portray the sort of idea that without those basic skills, you're very much going to limit yourself as an artist. But end of the day, they do all just want to be in a session. I can't lie.
Some people don't listen, but sometimes they might not listen at first, but then realise that they're not getting anywhere.
Because they'll see that, you know, they'll sit in a class and be like, oh, my lyrics or my songs aren't as good as this guy. Yeah. And they eventually come to the conclusion that that guy is slightly more educated. I hate to say it like that, but knowledge is power, right? Yeah. Like, we can't stand to miss out on education in any element, right? Because it all contributes to the larger picture of, you know, producing a greater end product. Like, that's why music is such a collaborative thing, right? Like, one of us might be an artist, but as an artist, you're not going to get anywhere without a producer to make your beats for you. It's all collaborative, and we definitely try to push that. Yeah.
So I'll say that. Any other questions out in the audience? Okay, we've got quite a few, so let's try and keep things snappy. So, blue shirt here? Yeah, that's you. Oh, yeah, thanks.
Does it just... Yes, it does. Yes. So, from the oldest girl singer in town, I'm interested in your inclusivity age-wise. What do you find? Are you targeting mainly younger?
In-house is for everyone.
Absolutely not. No. So I work over two, and I'm about to start my. So I work currently in 2 prisons, and I'm about to start in my 3rd. One of the prisons that I work at is sort of a young offenders transitional prison. So most, I would say, 95% of inmates are 18 to 25. Within that particular establishment, of course, it's focused on that age group because that's all that's there. But at the other prison I work at, we have people literally from 18 to 60. And we do not discriminate on a basis of age at all. We do find that the way you need to handle specific learners differs on an individual basis, and of course age comes in as a factor when considering that, because you'll have different tastes, because of different influences, things like that, but we definitely cater to everyone on an individual basis, and age would never be a discriminating factor on that.
So even in a room or session, you might have a mixed age group.
100%, and in those situations we definitely try to...
Experience would rub off.
100%. We try to encourage sort of collaboration in those ways as well. A lot of the time with older people, they're live musicians, so we'll get the live musicians to produce backing tracks for the artist, therein allowing the youngers and the elders to integrate in that way. You also find that, say we have like 2 rappers, one person will have a lot of influence from like a more modern rapper, and the older guy will have influence from like more old school 90s rap. And I think there's knowledge to be taken again from both people. And I think that music, like everyone has something to learn from the other as an artist. Everyone has had a very unique approach to the field, very differing influences and very differing sort of ways of engaging with music. And I think there's something to learn from everyone. So we definitely try to...
And a very cheeky bolt-on question
Of
is,
course.
do you go into schools at young age? Because the sooner you start to give your message, Carl and Sheena, from experience, that sinks in.
I think that's a great idea,
but do you go out into the community?
Not as it stands,
schools?
but InHouse Records is very much in its infancy, I would say.
So on the, I'm going to say 9th, I'll have to check my phone. On the 9th of July, me and a couple of our grads, and then a few outside guys that do music with me as well. So we're going to a charity event in Hackney, because Hackney's quite gangified, basically, and it's called Postcode Love, their promotion. So it's about stopping knife crime and whatnot. So they asked me, and so one of our grads, Nurse, he's a drummer, spoken word artist. So he said to me, look, he's got this charity event, his friend's got a charity event, would we come and do something like this? So he wants us to do music. He wants the majority of the music to portray our stories, but he wants like a couple of like 3 or 4 minute talks about our journey and stuff. Yeah. So that we're going to be talking to probably from 14 to 17-year-olds that are actually in the thick of gangs. So that's something. Because Jude's in the US, I haven't even told him yet, but yeah, we're doing that on the 9th.
Amazing.
I didn't know about this either.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
And thank you for the performances.
Thank you for having us.
So, okay, let's get hands up if you want to ask a question. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, can we do like a quick fire round?
Yeah,
Let's give it a go. So I'll give it to a young person here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go for it.
Hi. First of all, I think what you're both doing is really inspirational. And thank you so much, Carl, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
My question is, once people that have been engaging with in-house music, once they leave prison, how does it work? Do they, and if they want to keep engaging with in-house music, are they able to go back to prisons now as to continue working with inmates, or not, or do you keep it completely separate one from the other?
So once they leave, before they leave, Sheena would, or any of the staff that work in the prisons will give them mine or Grace's details, because we work in the studio outside. Then after they get the stuff that they have to do, like probation and whatnot, they'll, in their own time, they'll find times, either send us an email or call, and then me or Grace will have like a one-to-one phone session with them, get like basically finding out their needs, and then we'll book them in on a studio session. As far as going into jails, it was hard for me. Like I went into Leeds prison, and it took so long to get in there.
There's like a thorough vetting process.
Yeah. So I'm currently waiting on the vetting process for Elmley.
For my jail, yeah.
And it's come back like 3 times, because obviously they're seeing my past, but they're not seeing my present. Yeah. So, but hopefully it'll pan out. But as far as our grads coming out, it'd be so hard for them. So what we tend to do is any event. So see, like my friend, one of the grads said to me, would we come and do this charity event? I get everyone involved in that way. That's the only way, really, because the prison system is so hard to get into.
There is still very much a discriminatory basis of looking at people that get out of prison when it comes to the jails. Like, I think a massive problem within the prison system is that once you get out of prison, they'll still look at you like a criminal. Yeah. They won't see you as getting out as having been rehabilitated. Like, they will preach rehabilitation, but once you get out, don't see you as having been rehabilitated, because they'll still reject you on the basis of the crimes that you committed in your past. But we're trying to break that down, one day at a time.
Trying to break the molds, and we will.
And last question, does in-house accept, for example, referrals from people that have been to prison,
Yes.
Or let's say that have been sectioned in hospital for many, many years, from people that, maybe prisons that you haven't been to?
So we have had some referrals. We also have partnered up with, other agencies like Catch 22, like they work with probation and stuff like that. So we have had some referrals, and we've had some partnered projects where we're working with people that haven't come from our jails. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I think we'll take questions from this side in a group of 3. There were 3 of you, right? Okay, there are 4. Let's do the front 3, and we'll have question, and then an answer.
Yeah.
Did you have time to practice your rapping inside of prison?
Yes.
Good question. And now next.
Yeah, great songs, you nailed it. Nice one.
Thank you.
And I was just wondering how long the charity's been going, and like how many artists have you worked with?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the last question, and I'll give you a chance to answer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you also go into women's prisons?
Great questions, thank you.
Great question.
Okay. So we're going to go for the quick one first. No, we don't work in women's prisons, I'm afraid. But I feel like that would be a good growth because rehabilitation is everywhere. It needs to be everywhere.
Yeah.
So your question, sir, was how long's the charity been on for? So I think 5 years.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. Me now, personally, I work with 16 grads.
Wow.
But some are distant, so some, like they're quite flaky, some of them, but I've got like probably 7 strong that anything that's going on, they want to be involved. They'll call me. The others, I kind of just have to keep checking in on them, But some are not flaky because they're falling back into crime. Some have got jobs, so their life has just moved away from music. So, yeah.
Music isn't necessarily like a primary career objective for everyone. Some of them just pursue it as a pastime. So we expect like different levels of engagement with in-house from different people, depending on how hard they want to go with the music thing, or they just might have already pre-established careers. We can sort of cater on that basis.
Amazing. So we had one more question over here, and then I'm sure there are 2 on this side as well. If you're going to ask that, amazing. So is this the last question then, if everyone's happy with that? I mean, I could just say it is. So yeah, this is the last question.
Yeah, no pressure or anything. Yeah, thank you both. You're absolutely inspiring, the pair of you. So thank you ever so much. Really interesting talk. I didn't know what to expect with this. My wife booked it up now because I'm a musician myself, and it's been really inspiring. And you're both, really talented as well. You've sort of half answered this already. I just wondered what sort of reception you're getting. I don't know how to put this politically, culturally, to the whole idea of not just music, but art, well, obviously music in your case, but music and art as a form of rehabilitation. There was a program, you probably saw it a few years ago, Gareth Malone, when he got into prisons, set a choir up, and incredible. One of the most moving things I've watched to see the impact it had on people. And thank Carl ever so much for sharing your story, because I think there's a lot of people like yourself. It's just that positive affirmation, I think, psychology. There's one guy, a really hard guy, just breaking down in front of his father, and it's just so emotional to watch. Are you sort of seeing any shift in like political thinking that this is what we should be doing, not just giving people 15 years go out, reoffend, back in again, as you described earlier? Are you sensing a shift there?
So I'm going to answer from my former self, but I'm being in prison. So when I started with InHouse, I was in an open prison. A lot of people are going out doing different jobs, plumbers, electricians, whatnot. They once you hit your security level goes down, you can go out and do and work. You can do voluntary work, whatever. Yeah. But I found with InHouse, because not all staff, but there was a handful of staff that was for us and trying to push our movement. But the majority was like, "What, you're going out again? What you're going?" Like, I think we done 5 theatre shows, 1 art exhibition opening, and then we done a show in a pub. It's like it's a music venue, but it's basically a pub. And then they basically called the pub and said, do you know that everyone that's coming there is a criminal? They've got some serious cases, blah, blah, blah. But InHouse had already been there before they got to that jail, before they got to our jail. So the place was used to, they knew what InHouse was about. So they said, we know, like, they've been here before. But basically, they tried to crash it because they didn't believe that music, or not, didn't see music as a career.
Yeah.
So
it's previously much more considered as a vocation than like a serious career. So I think we've struggled to take it, people struggle to take it seriously. But speaking on the perspective of within prisons, I think joining, I thought it would be a lot more open-minded. I now think we definitely still have a long, long way to go, especially looking at officers and actually like prison enforcers of discipline. There is a lot of prevalent like discrimination and racism. I'm not sure if any of you would have seen, we were talking about this just before we came on, wasn't there? So one of the prisons I work at, there was like a massive scandal recently where a load of officers had their group chat leaked where they'd been referring to like inmates of colour as monkeys and stuff, like really disgusting. And this is only within the past couple of years, which we should not be expecting to see in this sort of day and age. And we have the issue where like a lot of officers will come down and have like a natural disdain towards us because they just see black kids making gang music, and that is not what it is. If you take the time to get to know these guys on an individual basis, know the things they're passionate about, know their personalities, like it extends so far past that. But look at any musician, what do they talk or rap or sing about other than their lived experiences, right? It's unfortunate for them that those are their lived experiences, but it's not their fault. It's as a result of their circumstance, not the colour of their skin or their upbringing or anything like that, but more sort of the bad luck that they've had to put them in that situation. But we definitely see like a massive like race differential played there. Like it is very discriminated against on that basis. So yeah, a long way to go, I would say, within the actual prison system.
Okay, well, that was our last question. And thank you for your honest answers as well. It's really good to hear, like, your experiences in all sorts of, like, situations. The amount of work that has gone into just being here today is really amazing. So let's have another round of applause for Carl and Sheena.
Rachel,
yeah.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah, please.
Sorry. So something that I didn't touch upon, but InHouse is not just about music. So InHouse is like a Trojan horse. So the outside is a fully functional record label. We want music, and we'd be happy if we had loads of number ones and whatnot. But on the inside, the main core is rehabilitation. So even if we get someone a job in a coffee shop or
we're still helping you better
anywhere,
your
it
life,
doesn't matter.
the
As long as they do not go back to prison and do not go back into that negative life, then we're happy. So
100%.
yeah, we want music, we love music, but the thing that we want more is just no more prison, no more negative life. So we do have, at the moment, we're working with a guy called Will, actually. He's got like food trucks that he works in the O2, all music events and film events. So anyone that is serious that wants to go work, and it's not like the world's best pay in the world, and he'll just say, are you available for this week? So it's not like once you go, you have to like work, but there's opportunity for work, so we just push people there if they're struggling for money as well. And we're always looking for more people to partner up with that don't mind people with backgrounds that are willing to work. Sorry.
Amazing. That's a perfect final point. Yeah. Thank you. And if you're interested, then take this exit to go round to our Adult Zone exhibition, where you can enjoy more science, more of the great Exhibition Road Festival, not the Great Festival Road, just round here. Feel free to explore. It's lovely to have you here. Thanks so much.